Welcome everyone to the March 3rd SIG Node community call. We have 3 items on today's agenda. We can just go item by item, and if there are items not on the agenda that folks want to raise, feel free to add them to the end of the doc. So first, looks like Victor is just a call out for review or approval on PRs that were pending. Were there more that we wanted to talk about, any of those individual PRs, or?
I think there's been, comments and feedback on all of these PRs, and I think they've all been addressed. The top two are feature related. The first one is about, alignment of resources with multiple containers in a pod, and the others are the bottom three or more of the test related PRs. And so I don't necessarily think there's any need to have any specific discussion on them, other than just saying we need, in order to make beta for 118, these need to be merged by this Thursday at 5. If there are any questions or discussion on any
in there, Victor, this is Connor, just joined there as well. So the top one there, 87759, that's the one you've actually already reviewed like 95%, Derek. If you recall, I left it open for Kevin to also have a look, and he added a couple of comments, and out of that then I added one more small commit onto that PR, which included a change to kubelet.go. So now that PR actually needs approval from kubelet owner, so it's outside of Kevin's scope. So that one actually just needs your approval. And then the one below that is the feature gate, enabling that by default. So obviously we don't want to do that until we've everything else taken care of, but once that 87759 is merged, we can move forward with the rest.
Okay, that sounds good. I was out of the office yesterday, so I apologize for the lag, but I will either conclude the review for the things that we were already reviewing or try to get through these items as best as possible. It looks like the second items are just related to docs as these PRs merge, right? So
yes, those are just docs. Yep.
One other question, actually, there's a PR in there for the KEP. I'm not sure, is that necessary? We've included it anyway. It's quite small anyway. It's just literally just describing the changes that are being made for beta. So
yeah, it's just updating what you've done. That's fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Okay. And then looks like we still have this testing for PR lingering. I tried to make sure I had permissions to actually approve. Is there something new on the?
Okay, so I think you are not in the owner's file on this one. There was a sync of a different owner's file, and this is a different one. This is, I think, in test infra.
Let me take a quick look. Otherwise, we'll follow up on.
And yes, you are not in that list.
Okay, I'll follow up with Dawn afterwards if she can approve this, and then we'll take an action and just sync that as well.
Great, thank you.
Okay. All right, so I think that was those items. Mernal, do you want to go next on custom areas?
Yeah, sure. Clayton is going through the kubelet code to figure out if there is any slowdowns and if we can make improvements in reacting. So he has a PR open with a bunch of issues and fixes that he's testing. And one thing he pointed out is that the kubelet would benefit from knowing that a pod or a container is basically not found from the CRI. And I was looking into it, and I think that the best option to do it would be for the CRI runtimes to return a custom error. So I wanted to raise it here and see if there's any objections to adding an error package to the CRI, similar to the one there's one for API, so we can add an error package and then begin with an error not found, and then add others as needed.
So today we just return a blank error. We have no detail on the reason for the error.
Yeah, exactly. So we are just returning like an error and we don't know what type it is.
Do you have a list of other errors beyond not found?
No, so this is the only one he's identified we need so far.
Yeah, it sounds useful. Maybe to prep for 1.19, we can enumerate what we found and get a small enhancement of them.
All right, I can. So you want me to open an issue or write an enhancement?
Just get an enhancement probably for the CRI change and for what you found and the reasons. And if we only get it down to one error, then maybe that's not that bad. But I'm sure there's other errors we can come up with.
Okay, sounds good. Yep.
I'm trying to think back. If we think back to like the original Docker API, like how verbose their errors were, and if we were able to do anything differently.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the Docker shim and see if we are making use of any custom errors or just like introspecting the errors that we get back.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else on the call that maybe has written a CRI implementation that wants to speak up if there are any particular areas that they would find useful? Otherwise, we can just hold on the cut. Okay, cool. Next was huge pages. Is this just looking for a review on this 2 PRs, it looks like?
Yeah, there are 2 PRs, like one is a bug fix. So I asked on the previous meeting, the last week meeting, about reviewing it, and it was kind of slight activity there, but if it can be reviewed and merged before the deadline, that would be really good. And the second one, sorry, the first one is documentation update. The code is already merged and it's in release branch. So, and that is just update for documentation and is blocked because of, so it waits for SIG Node review basically.
Okay.
Thanks.
Looks like I will finish the review on those 2 as well, since I did most of the other huge page reviews. Unless anyone else wants to jump in.
Okay.
Joel, do you want to discuss this last item then?
Yeah, if we've got time, looks like we do. In the past, we found that init containers prevented HPA from working because we weren't reporting stats in the kubelet stats provider. And so along the metrics pipeline, if there's missing CPU or memory for a container, the HPA refuses to take action. So we made a fix in the first linked PR for any runtimes that use the CRI stats provider. And the fix is basically to just populate empty metrics, but with zeros for CPU and memory. I'm just wondering, does anybody see any reason we couldn't do the same thing for the C-Advisor stats provider? Because we actually have the same problem for any runtimes that use the C-Advisor stats provider, which basically is Cryo and Docker. If there are ever containers that don't have those statistics populated in C-Advisor, then HPA won't scale them.
I don't see any issues with that.
Okay, yeah, I just wondered if that would have kind of any unforeseen side effects that anybody could think of. But anyway, I just wanted to bring it up, and I'll work that PR. I'll work on that PR for a while. Is there somebody that I could ping for a review when I'm ready?
Please assign me Dashpol.
Okay, thank you. That's all from me.
Cool, thanks, Joel. Well, this could be a very quick SIG Node call. Are there other items that people want to raise today? Once, twice. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and those who had PRs pending, we'll try to get them between today and tomorrow. And thanks for everyone participating. Talk to you later.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.